So AMVR sent me over a couple of bits for the Quest 2. I'm sure you've probably all heard of AMVR. You may have even seen some reviews of their facial interface already. But here's my take on it. And to be honest, this pisses me off a little bit because it's really good, but at the same time, it's really bad. And I'll explain that in a minute. So they sent me that, and they also sent me these, what they described these in the email as earmuffs. And I'll just give you a close up there. And when I read the email and I read earmuffs, I thought, what do you mean earmuffs? I thought maybe it's just poorly translated and maybe they mean headphones or earphones or something more logical. But no, they actually meant earmuffs. Now, they're not fluffy earmuffs, but they are very soft and they are very pliable, and we'll get to those in a bit. So first of all, we'll go over the facial interface and why it annoys me, and why it's really good and also really bad. So it comes in a box and you get lens covers that I know some people do use, I personally don't. You get two different thickness facial interface padded bits, which are held on with Velcro, just like all the others. I'll keep this short because it's all the same as everything else. You get the interface itself that just slots in. It slots in fine without any problems. The quality feels decent enough. The plastic feels soft rather than brittle like that cheap eBay Amazon one I had before. So that's a plus. I think this would probably last longer. Maybe it would be harder to break or damage than what the other one would. It comes with one nose guard or nose shroud, I suppose you might call it. And it also comes with two extra bits of padding that you can Velcro in the side here that goes underneath the main foam pad, so that if you have light leakage at the side, which I did on the Amazon and eBay one, you put those inserts in and it fills in that gap. Now, for me, they work perfectly. There was a little bit of light leakage. I put those in, boom, gone. The nose shroud. This nose shroud by far fits the best both on the interface and on my nose. With this exactly as you see it now, so I've got the thicker foam pad on. The thinner one was also fine. I just happened to have left the thicker one on because I was trying it out. And with the side bits in with the nose guard, I get no light leakage whatsoever. And this is the first facial interface that I've tried for the Quest 2 that gives me no light leakage. There's usually some like below my nose, sometimes around the edge, and even on the top where people have fitted vents to their facial interfaces. So that was absolutely brilliant and I was chuffed. But instantly, as well as noticing there's no light leakage, there's a bloody orange hue all the way around the outside edge. That, you know, it must to a certain extent bleed onto the image that I'm seeing as well, because there is orange light being permitted into my field of view. It's bound to have a difference. And even though I didn't really notice it affecting what I was looking at, there's just this orange glow all the way around the outside edge from where they've chosen orange. I mean, orange is fine. If you want it to look like a dive mask or a snorkel, that's absolutely fine. That's up to you. But at least make it out of plastic that isn't so translucent. Because for me, and probably a lot of other people out there, we're not going to be able to live with an orange glow around the outside of our face, because it just, it distracts you, you know, and it takes you out of the experience that you're in. So, I mean, that's a really easy thing for AMVR to rectify as well. Rectify that, and this is the best fitting and best for light leakage facial interface that I've tried. As I say, the build quality, the plastic feels decent. The actual interfaces are just polyurethane, same as the eBay Amazon one I tried, and same as the VR cover one. So that's, you know, that is what it is. We all know polyurethane's a bit sweatier than, say, the standard Quest foam one, and that's just the way it is. But as far as light leakage and fit goes, I mean, on one of my other videos, I was doing this and you could see light like coming through the sides here. You can see with this on my face, there's none whatsoever. And again, around the nose, in case you're interested, here's a close-up of it around my nose. So, yeah, what a ball ache. As I say, it's annoyed me because, like, I'd love to use this because it eliminates the light leakage I get from around my nose with the standard interface. But I can't deal with that orange glow all the way around the outside of my boat race. It's too distracting and it's annoying. So that's why this was both good and bad. Now, if you can live with that, I'll put a link in the description, because maybe for some of you, the orange hue around the outside edge is less important than light leakage elsewhere, and maybe you'll prefer it. So I will stick a link up just in case some of you want to give it a go. But for me, it was almost close to the perfect facial interface. Well, it is close to the perfect facial interface. It's just got an orange glow around the edge. So a little bit irritating. So good and bad. Now, the Earmuffs, which look a bit like upside down Mickey Mouse ears, if you ask me. I was ready to absolutely slate these. When I picked up, I said, oh my God, what are these going to do to enhance sound? Usually, when you want to amplify sound using a physical, an object rather than like an electronic amplifier, other ways to amplify sound, like think of an old gramophone, for example. They don't have a electronic amp, there's no amp in there in speakers. There's a big horn, trumpet shape that comes out, and it's the shape that amplifies the sound. So usually when you want to use a physical object or shape to amplify sound, you don't have it floppy, you have it solid, because sound waves bounce better off of solid objects. You actually use soft substances as sound deadening to soak up sound and stop it reflecting around the room or the environment that you're in. So I was ready to I saw these, I thought these are going to do absolutely nothing. But I was wrong. Now, don't get excited. They're not good, they're not great, and I'm probably not going to recommend them, but they do actually raise the volume level versus, so if you've got them on and then you peel them away and you let them flat back down, I'd say the volume difference is probably 30 to 40%. So it does increase the volume. Whether it's because it's blocking out more external sound, or whether it's because the sound is being channeled out of that opening in there. So yeah, whether it's because there's a very slight trumpet effect coming into the muff itself, or whether it's just because it blocks it, well, I don't know. I think it's the former. I think it's the sort of trumpeted, and the slight shape is actually giving us some amplification. Whereas normally the sound would just be out into the atmosphere without anything to reflect off of at all. Now, whilst you do get a volume increase, I'm going to say, let's say 30 to 40% perhaps, but what it also does is muddy the sound. And what I mean by that is, your mid-range and your low end get an increase in volume, but the high end, the clarity, doesn't. So it's a bit like grabbing, if you've got like an equalizer with a treble, a mid and a bass setting, it's a bit like you've just really cranked up the mid-range knob and left the treble and perhaps just turned the bass up a touch as well. So you're getting more of a muffled sound, not quite as bad as hand over your mouth, but it's the best way I can describe it. So I don't know whether I could really recommend you buy them. I mean, I actually don't even know how much they cost. I never bothered looking. But I mean, they go on easy enough. They just slot over the original strap. They fit over an Elite strap as well. I definitely prefer a proper set of headphones. But I don't know, maybe there's some of you out there that fancy a bit of muff covering your ears. So if you fancy some cheap floppy muff, then there you go, AMVR muff, all yours. So I think that about wraps it up for this review. I'll put links for the muffs as well, just in case you fancy some cheap rubber muff in the description. Who knows? Everyone's taste is different. So yeah, thanks for watching, and take it easy.